everyone, welcome back to our CSS series. In our last video we learned how to write CSS rules and where to put them. In today's video we are adding some style to our page by changing fonts, colors and text sizes, all using CSS. Let's get started. Let's begin with fonts. Right now our HTML page uses a default font, but with CSS we can change that easily. I want us to first view this page without changing anything, without adding the font. Just close it and view it again. As you can see, don't have any fonts changed. Here is an example of our first font that we're going to be changing inside the body. The font family, which is this one, sets the font, and then the second part is a fallback font in case the browser doesn't support Arial, which is the font that we're trying to use. So let's just uncomment that and then save. As you can see, the moment you save, your font changes. We can also try a different font just to see it in action again. As you can see, it's changed again. And another thing that we can use is custom font from Google Fonts, and here's how we can use it. You can go to fonts.google.com. As you can see here, there are a lot of fonts. There is Roboto, there is OpenSense and Montserrat, Inter. There's a lot of fonts. I'm going to be choosing pop-ins. We can click inside there and then let's just make this bigger. You can click to get font and then it's gonna take you here. Here you can copy the embed or you can download the font, but we will be copying the link that Google will give us. I have already embedded my link here, which is this one. What I need to do is just call pop-ins here, which is the font that I want. Save, and then you can see that it's changed. The good thing about using Google is that you can just call any font that you like without having to change that link. Let's go back and find a different font. Let's choose this one, Font12, and save. As you can see, it has changed. And just like that, our page has a nice font. We can just go back to pop-ins because this is the font that I like. Now let's add some color. Let's say we want to have a blue heading and a light gray background. Here is our CSS for it. Save. Let's just comment this out. Okay, let's just make the color red for now. As you can see, it has changed only the H1 to be red. Let's just add the color to the body. The background color is the property we use for changing the background. You can use these color names in CSS, or you can use hex code, or you can use RGB values. These are the color names. Like for example, if you want brown, you can save the background to be brown, or we can use a hex code for the grayish background. Change it a bit. As you can see, now we have a gray background with the red text, and we can also use RGB values. For example, if we want this red to be an RGB value instead of a color name, we can just use RGB. You can put a number for red, put a number for green, and put a number for blue. For example, I'm gonna put 255, which is the last number for all the values, and then I'm gonna put 0, which is the first number for all the values. 0 also here, and then we're gonna get red. And if I put this last in blue and then put 0 here, I'm gonna get green. And then if we do the same, put the last number in blue and the 0 0 to the other colors, we're gonna get blue, but we want to stay with red. Let's just put the 0 back and control save. And we can also use a color picker to help choose the exact code. So VS Code has its own color picker. So if you want this red but you want a different shade of red, you can use this to just choose a different shade of red that you want. This comes with an extension, I think, and then we have a different shade of red. Or you can add a color picker to your Chrome. This is my color picker that I use, and then what I need to do is say click that color picker and then pick color. Just say for example you're trying to pick a color from a logo or another site with its color that you like, and then you can just do it like this, and you can use it as an RGB. As you can see, the values of that make up this color are going to be different depending on the color that you're trying to pick. Or you can use the hex codes. So let's go to fonts. Let's make the text bigger or smaller. For example, like our paragraph, we want the font size to be 18 pixels and the line height to be 1.2, and then our paragraph is 18 pixels. Or we can just make it bigger and say 50 pixels. See, you can see that it's changing the text size, but we want it to be 18 with the text size that makes it look better. So there are 4 units that you can use in CSS. Pixels, which is the one that we're using. This one is great for beginners. You have to play around with it, get used to it first. And then there is EM, this one is based on the parent element. And then RAM, this one is based on the root element, and a percentage of parent size, this one is based on that. So we are using pixels to start, and because it's the easiest to use, and later you can try out a RAM, which is good for responsive design. And I think we're also going to be using RAM when we're in responsive design later in this course. So now we're going to be styling our page to make it look like a real page with everything that we've learned. Let's just remove this, comment this in, and save. As you can see, we have a welcome to my style page. We have a blue background. Let's try and break it down. We can see here that we are using pop-ins from Google. The background is soft light gray and the text is a dark gray. This one is, it looks better for easy reading, so that the first shades of black but just grayish, and the heading is a big blue. The paragraph has 18 pixels and 1.6 line space, which is the height between paragraphs. And now that looks better than the one that we had, because I just wanted just to show how a gray is going to be added. This one speaks to each other. It doesn't look out of place. Here's what we've learned today: how to change fonts using font family, how to add colors using names, hex or RGB, how to control text and spacing, and how to find and use Google Fonts in your project. Awesome job getting this far. If you find this video useful, like the video, share it with your friends. In our next session, we'll go over combining selectors and writing more advanced CSS rules. See you in the next video.